So I feel like I love how Bartier kind of gives us like the elevated experience.
Since January this year, we've run 7 events. We've featured over 15 DJs and we've featured over 16 local artists. Yeah.
Because I don't want someone that's just going to come and like maybe like a post. I want people that are going to come to my event.
You know, it's been an amazing experience becoming a mother. I don't say no, I say hell no. It's about cultivating a space for people to come, perform, connect with people, expand their audience, and about refining their craft.
What's up, guys? It's your girl Wintana, and I'm back with another episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Bittersweet podcast. This week we have a very, very, very special guest. This is someone that I've been watching their work from afar, so I'm really excited to have them on. We have event curator, vibe creator, creative director, Saarah Akoojee, who is the founder of Bartier. Welcome.
Thank you. What an introduction. Wow.
Let me give you your flowers, you know.
Oh, girl. I appreciate it.
I've been seeing Bartier from a distance, and like every time, I told you this last time we spoke on the phone, every time I want to go to the event, something comes up, but I'll be at the next one 100% because I feel like
we're random as well, so you can't really plan too much.
That's what I'm saying. You don't know when to expect it. You just have to be ready. You have to stay ready to go to a Bartier event. But I remember it first coming out, and I was talking to my friends about not having, like we speak about it, especially once you pass a certain age, like 25 plus. I'm trying to be cute. I'm trying to be a cute girl. I'm trying to step out. I'm trying to look nice. I want the vibe to be nice. And sometimes don't get me wrong, I love a little bit of a ratchet night. I will never say that I don't love it. I love it, but not every day. It's not everyday ratchet. So I feel like I love how Bartier kind of gives us like the elevated experience of like going out, looking really like and not just like, you can put together a nice fit, you can feel very sexy, it's very lounge vibes. Yeah. And you also do really such an amazing job putting local artists on, which I want you to talk all about that. But just know you're doing an amazing job.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. I'm so excited to be here because I've been watching you too. So I think this is such an amazing opportunity.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, for us to connect finally.
Yeah, I know.
Get you into our next event. But yeah, I mean, look, it's just the beginning for us. And the good thing about it is every event we've done, it's different.
Yeah.
It's got a different feature, different venue, and different artists. So yeah, it kind of keeps it exciting. Mm-hmm. There's no set schedule either.
Yeah, so it is random, right?
You're so right. You've got to just be ready.
Yeah.
But that makes it more exciting as well. And I think, adding another opportunity to engage and socialize, connect, especially on an industry level, is so important for us. In Melbourne, we have so many amazing artists and talented creatives. And why not?
Do. They need a space as well. So
that's right.
I want to get into all of that. You're also the Australian representative for a company called Media to Radio. So it started in London.
Yes.
And it basically is an established specialist radio and club promotion company based in the UK. So they work with established and underdeveloped artists.
Yep.
Are you guys giving them like the marketing and the strategy to kind of connect them to industry?
Yeah, I feel like, the Media to Radio team, they've been around for like over 2 decades. So they've got a lot of experience. I mean, they've got like a huge roster of range of artists.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of them you will all know. So I think it's important for us to keep that connection with the UK and, the artists that are here as well. So it's just like another level of, I guess, value when it comes to connecting with the group of people that we're working with.
Yeah.
Because, we want to know what's going on outside of Australia.
Yes.
We want to keep fresh. We want to be able to continue to build, relationships. Yeah. And I feel like being in Australia, we're so far away, geographically, that sometimes things move a little bit slower.
Yeah, 100%. We're either playing catch up or we're fighting an uphill battle, and it feels like you're never actually being like seen.
Yeah.
And a lot of us are tapping into what's happening overseas.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, we're very influenced by the US and the UK, especially when it comes to music.
Yeah.
And now Africa, which is exciting as well.
For sure.
There's so many awesome things happening. So it's just like another level of you know, bringing in new, fresh ideas and also relationship building and, you know, to support local artists here and potentially get their music played out in the UK. Okay. So I think working with the UK team has been really exciting. In the last few weeks, we, you know, connected with Skepta and his team, so cool. Which was really awesome to be able to.
So what kind of work do you do with them?
Well, right now we're establishing our Australian office. And for us, it's about, you know, creating these relationships. So whether it's because they are, you know, working with Media to Radio in London, it's just being able to offer them that support on the ground. So as an example, you know, just, you know, being able to connect to local studios. Whatever it is that need. You know, things happen on tour. You never know what it is that you might need. So whether it's radio interviews, we took them down to Marshall's studio, which was really exciting for them. So it's just good to be able to like use that connection and also, you know, expose the talent that we have and connect them to whoever we're connected with. I think that's really the essence of what I do and what we do with Bartier. So,
and it's good because I feel like in the past, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't feel like there's been a lot of, there has like people, like I guess like diverse voices, people of color, Black people in the space, especially in entertainment. And I think that obviously artists from overseas will come here and they kind of are left to, you know what I mean? They're kind of like, where do I go? So you either see like a really weird mismatched interview happening on the radio or like on like the Sun, like, you know, we've got like our morning shows and stuff, and it's just very, very random. And then people leave thinking Australia just doesn't have the culture that it has. So 100%. It's nice to see people that really represent the culture in those spaces. We need that in so many different, like
basically in every aspect,
in corporate, in beauty, like, because we've got a lot of people that are kind of creatives and working in the space, actually making the content or doing the work, but we don't have anyone kind of behind the scenes. So it's nice to,
and even if it's just as simple as being able to have a conversation, you know, with
100%.
with, you know, an artist, because a lot of the time I find myself explaining to them, okay, this is what Australia's like, or this is what, you know, we actually have to work with, or these are the opportunities. I spent a lot of time in New York in particular. I was kind of up and down for like almost 10 years. So I think every time I'd go and just like immerse myself in what's happening there, come back and bring a little bit back, you know, with me. And I think even when you're dealing with artists from these places, being over here, you can kind of connect and understand their expectation. Because the thing is, certain things that we do here is very different to how things operate overseas, outside, you know, in other countries. So I think, you know, it's just like a really, I mean, I'm blessed to have had the insight that I have and the experiences that I have had. And I think now I'm at the point in my life where I'm just trying to, you know, make it make sense and to give back, you know, and to be able to use that knowledge and like, okay, actually cool, how can we start bridging the gap and making real changes in our scene, outside of the club scene, outside of after parties, you know, those are happening, but I feel like there's a space available for us to be able to, you know, PR and connect and to really, bridge those types of gaps.
And that's you bringing in like Bartier as well to that as well, right? Because well, I guess like Bartier is like the in real life version of it, but still connecting like the local artists to the industry.
Yes, and just, while it's exciting to like hear and speak with like, you know, Tash and I've assisted her when, you know, DeVito came down last year, and that was exciting to be able to like connect with him and, you know, assist on an after party. And, you know, artists like Skepta and things like that. But then once they leave, it's like, we're still here. Okay. So what are we doing in the meantime? You know, it's great to like have those connections, but then also let's also put some effort into cultivating the artists that are here and that we do have.
I want to move on and talk about Bartier, because we spoke about it briefly. Where did the idea come from? And what exactly, like if you had to pinpoint what it was or what it is, how would you describe it for people that don't know about it?
Okay, cool. Let me think. So basically, I would say Bartier, where it's at now, is an accumulation of just, my experience navigating the world. I entered the creative industry as a wardrobe stylist early on.
Ah, okay, yeah.
And, basically just delving into the world of fashion. I had trialed and tested different projects around creating merchandise, styling, working with different artists, DJs, and all of that type of thing here in Melbourne. I then went on to travel to New York, like I said, spent a lot of time over there. And it just sort of, highlighted to me the importance of having a brand and how to market whatever it is that you're selling or pursuing. So Bartier itself was initially, I launched it as the tooth gem brand.
Okay.
So basically, during lockdown, I couldn't work in events or fashion.
Yeah.
Everything was essentially shut down.
Yeah.
And I was on my way to London. I had my visa, my bags were packed. I was ready to go.
To move.
Okay. Because I'd done the US, I'd traveled around there, and I was ready for something new.
Yeah.
And so I came back to Australia, sorted out my visa, packed up. And then as I was about to leave, COVID hit.
Yeah.
So I wasn't able to actually get over there.
Yeah.
So basically, because I've always been working on something, I was bored.
True
Melbourne,
she's always plotting,
what else is there? What else can I do? We had such a long lockdown in Melbourne.
We did. It was actually not serious.
Yeah, I was like, cool, well, I can't just stop now. So basically, one of my friends in London, she was doing tooth gems, and I was really excited to get my teeth done. And because I didn't make it over there, and it didn't look like I was going to be there anytime soon, I was like, you know what? Is anyone even doing that here? Like, maybe not. Okay, cool. Let's learn about it. So I, learned about the process and what was involved, and I just started like teaching myself how to apply the gems and everything. And then just practiced on like all of my friends. So everyone had bling in their mouth. That was a really exciting time. I was working with another up and coming platform that worked, closely with artists at the time. And I was assisting with producing and things at some of their events and whatnot. And I was like, you know what? Let's just, add that into the mix as well. So I started doing a lot of artist teeth and just like people that were out and about.
Yeah.
I think we're all so excited to just be free, and everyone was just like so keen to get their teeth done. It was like insane. It was such a fun time because I just met so many amazing creatives and people doing stuff and, having a chat about their teeth and just getting to know them a little bit.
Yeah.
I was so passionate about somehow staying connected because I'm like, wow, you guys are like at your age and these are the things that you're doing. I was just so inspired and so happy, and I was like, cool, how can I create a space to connect with them and stay in touch or whatever, but like there was so many, so I was like, okay, well, what do I do best? Run events, bring people together. So I think that's kind of like very early on, even though it was really like creating different designs on people's teeth and connecting that way. It's so weird how like somehow it just sort of delved and grew into an event space. I've always been a people's person, so I feel like it was just a really
it was like a
nice
natural
way.
progression for that to happen.
So
how did you even so from tooth gems you just went, did you ever like have tooth gems happening in the actual event, or was it something?
100%. Like,
do you still do that?
Sometimes, on request.
I've never had a tooth gem. I've always
really?
like wanted to know. Like I thought people just glued them on.
Yeah, well, it's like dental glue.
Okay, so it's a proper process.
Semi-permanent, And I was just like, why not? Like, try something different. At the time there weren't many people doing it, so it was really exciting. People were coming to me from all over Melbourne, and just like it was just word of mouth, really, and it just spread. So basically, I held a really awesome brunch. So the whole idea was all these amazing creatives, but also being a female, I was like, wow, like I really want to do something for the ladies. Because at the time I was like, there's nothing really going on for the ladies. So, and for us to just like connect and vibe. So the first event, I hired a house in Collingwood. It was really dope, like 3-level house. And I had another young girl come, and she launched like her vegan catering business. She catered all the food. We had a couple artists like Savage the Girl. She performed, DJs. We had DeJoc. We had a couple other like local DJs, and we just vibed out. It was like 30 women.
Yeah,
we all got
that's
dressed
so beautiful.
up.
It
was all inclusive. We had champagne. We had like mimosas.
Beautiful.
And it was just such an amazing energy. Because there were a lot of people, because I had done their teeth, and I was like, oh my God, you need to come down. Like, we were having a brunch. And they hadn't even like connected with other people prior to coming, but they actually showed up by themselves, which is kind of unheard of.
It's beautiful,
especially
because
in Melbourne.
100%. I think it's like also creating a community. Like, people want, especially post-COVID, people want to be connected.
We were so like
to themselves.
Yeah.
People also want to find ways to connect with people that are like outside of who they already know. Because I think we're always like, that's why going overseas is such a nice experience, because you go there and you're like, I don't know these people. I'm just going to connect with people I feel like I
out there.
attract. Exactly. Yeah. So I love that is kind of what you're doing. I also love, like, and I mentioned this at the start, that you're putting local artists on.
Yeah.
How many artists did you say have performed at Bartier already?
So basically for this year, so like I said, when we started, it was all female events. We ran about 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And then this year we've opened it up to everybody, and we just, because, I have had a baby during that time. And there were a lot of really awesome guys that creatives that I wanted to connect with as well. So that's, for me, this is a way to stay connected.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Let's just open it up. And we did that January. It was Australia Day Eve was the first event.
Yeah.
Since then, we've run 7 events.
Yeah, amazing.
We've featured
since
January this year.
Insane.
Yeah. We've featured over 15 DJs, local DJs, and we've featured over 16 local artists.
Yeah, that's incredible, and that's not even a full year.
Yeah, even if it's 3 tracks,
of course,
it's about cultivating a space. A safe space for people to come, perform, connect with people, expand their audience, but practice, and about refining their craft. Because at the end of the day, it's just like, especially when it comes to R&B, Afrobeat, hip hop, elevated spaces. It wasn't really anything that had been done before. And because of my experience, again, of when I was been out the country traveling and being to different types of events and things like that, I was just like, we don't really have that type of space where, doing a show, headline show is amazing and everything has its place, but I think this is just equally as important.
I think local grassroots anything is important. I also think it's the new wave. Like, I think that there's this, for so long, it's kind of been like huge organizations that are doing things, and you want to collaborate with big brands, and you've got big influencers doing this, and celebrity culture and this, but it's like we've moved from celebrity culture to influencer culture. We've moved from influencer culture to content creation and cultivating community. And now it's like people want something that is going to like have a lasting impact and that's going to hit people directly. It's not about it is about reaching numbers, because obviously reach is important. But it's also like you could bring in the numbers or the views. But it's about being
organic too.
And it's also like who's going to stay? Because I don't want someone that's just going to come and like maybe like a post. I want people that are going to come to my event.
I mean, look, we can run a list and invite all the influencers out there. But at the end of the day, are they interested in what we're selling?
Exactly.
Are they interested in these artists? Like, are they interested in connecting with other people?
Because there's a ripple effect as well. Like they're gonna bring their people who are gonna bring, and it's like creating that trust. I think is really important, and I just feel like that's just the new way that we're moving.
I believe in my experience, sometimes quality over quantity is equally as important. Like, 100%. Look, I don't want to limit what we're doing, and there's no, you never know what we're going to be able to pull off in the future and grow towards. And again, everything has its place. But I think even just having these consistent, intimate events where an artist can come, a visual artist can come out, and, we give them the opportunity to create without being like, it needs to be like this, and this.
I think so too. And I don't even think it's taking away from the fact that you guys will grow. I just think that we're so like focused on like numbers and kind of like collaborating on this big level when I just feel like it takes away from really the impact that you're creating and what people are doing, or like what people are kind of like aiming towards. I don't think you need to at the beginning be at this high level or like reach this many people. I think it's important to start and create impact and to really build like an audience. Well, we've grown
organically, like even our followers, you know, it's grown organically. Like it's literally people coming down, giving it a chance for one, because, you know, it's new. It's a different model of how we've put out our tickets and the offerings. Yeah. So it is a new concept. So the people that have come down, they've had a look, they've experienced it, and they will just, you know, they've decided on their own, hey, I want to keep up to date with what's going on. Yeah. So it's really beautiful to see the organic following that's growing. Yeah. And then different venues and different brands and artists that are approaching us and showing interest. Yeah. And then also supporting and, you know, hearing stories like there was an artist, as an example, Rince, he performed at that first event I was saying in January. And he met another artist. So he's a rapper. Yeah. And he met another artist who's South American, and he has a, you know, sings in Spanish and he plays guitar and just so different. Yeah. But naturally, they were there, they were both open, they had a chat, they connected, and they ended up working together and creating a track. Yeah. And that was like really awesome to know that, like, shit, with the work that we put in to create these spaces has brought people together. And as a result, people have gotten work out of it. They've collaborated. I see it all the time and I'm like, wow, you guys met. You
guys met at our event.
Even today, like I've got people that came to that first brunch. Yeah, you know?
That are still close with each other and still connected
or have with connected, each other. Have worked together, have created, and that's what it's about. You know,
absolutely. And I think that's like that speaks to obviously what you guys are doing. So I really do. I love the community that you guys are creating and just the brand that you're building. So that's like shout out to you and your team. I did also want to talk about. What has your experience been being a woman in the entertainment industry? Because I think, you know, in Australia, obviously it's like small, it's growing, especially the industry that we're in. And I feel like we just don't talk about it enough. We don't talk about like how hard it can be, how...
Being a woman in general is hard.
Being a woman in general is like I'm just trying to just be like there's two sides of me where it's like I'm trying to hustle, but I'm also just a girl. So please leave me alone, please. But
let me be.
Let me be. But I feel like even just like being taken seriously, I think in certain spaces, I've come across situations where I feel like maybe people will downplay just like my role and kind of like not having that respectful approach towards me at the beginning, or, you know, not discussing things like rates or talking about like all these really important conversations, which I feel like you would be very direct with men, and maybe because men are very direct in how they speak. But I just want to know, like, what's that experience like for you?
Yeah, well, look, I'm not going to lie. It definitely has its challenges. Yeah. But I feel like sometimes you got to like just get down to basics and just do the work. Mm-hmm. You know, like if you're going to focus on the challenges, how far is that going to get you? You know, I think that it's just about being clear about what you're doing and just having that confidence and just pushing through. Yeah. You know, because it's a double-edged sword. Sometimes being a woman gets you into certain places, not going to lie. Yeah. But it's how you handle yourself as a woman. Yeah. Your decorum, your professionalism, that unfortunately, the reality is these things do come into play in life as a woman in any industry. So, you know, it's like, I think the other really important aspect is support from other women. Yes. As well.
Of course.
Anyone, a man as well. But, you know, just knowing that, like, when you're building, you're already, like, maybe a minority in that area, in that, you know, industry. So being able to connect even with women like yourself, you know what I mean? Like supporting one another and, you know, because you do require a lot of strength and perseverance because it's definitely not easy. It's 100% a male-dominated industry. And I think that is something that really just drives me even further because I'm like, you know what? I have a really great understanding of the industry that I work in. I've got something to offer. I have knowledge and I've got, and I want to be able to showcase that. So even if it's just taking small steps, but I feel like consistency, how you handle yourself. And you know what? A lot of the time I look at how men handle business and I look at, okay, cool, what can I take from that? How can I take the positives and learn from that?
So like, what are some examples of that when you say that?
Yeah, so I feel like naturally women, we're very emotional beings. And in one end, it's our power and super strength, but it can also, prevent you from sticking to, when it comes to business, it's like, it's business, the less emotion, the better.
Facts,
and that's something that I've had to personally work on because I'm so, passionate about the artist and I want to make sure everyone's happy and comfortable and, nurture everything.
Yeah.
And then I've had to learn the hard way sometimes, So it's just like, okay, I find, in my opinion, generally, men are very like non-emotional and it's like, they wouldn't even be maybe as concerned about feelings if they're doing a business deal.
Yeah.
And it's like, cool, well, how can I adapt that? And, also tap into my superpower of having that emotional intelligence and looking in the details of an event and combine both. So I think it's constant growth. I think that, for us to have a debate about who's better, men or women, I ain't got time for that because I'm trying to get the bag. So I feel like, you know what I mean?
I love this. Yeah, no. And I hear what you're saying because I think everything you're saying makes so much sense. I think men, especially your points where men are like more, I guess, like driven by logic.
Yeah.
And less emotion. I do feel like women also like have a lot of logic and emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
But I feel like men don't take shit personally, know, and I think and actually let me not make that a blanket statement because I don't think women
sometimes they do, but I feel like
there,
generally,
as in the space, I think there's a very like move on to the next and this whole like nothing's personal in business.
Yeah.
And actually I wouldn't even say women do. I just think like men, like you said, it's more like a male dominated space. So you see them more in the space. And even for me getting into it, especially when you come from a place where you're like, I'm doing this for the community or I'm doing this because my reasons are a lot, like they're just very genuine and authentic. And I'm coming in with this like, that's my motive, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't go into business for that, and that's fine.
Yeah.
People go in for money, people go in for other reasons.
Yeah.
And I think when you're going in there, you're kind of blindsided by like things that are happening. So I feel like not taking things personally is a really good like piece of advice.
But in saying that, can I just add that I'm not advocating for people to be
Cutthroat
dickheads, okay?
Yeah,
like I think something that I've personally experienced recently is that respect is very, very important. And I think that's an area where I believe as a whole, as a community in this, city we live in, that is something that I feel like everyone should maybe focus a little bit more on and how we go about doing our business. I think there's a fine line because when you're like, I'm trying to get the bag, it's business, don't take it personal, that's cool. But then it's like, you still need to know how to
treat people.
Pay your respect, to those that were before you and that have assisted you, and just move with grace. I think that you could be a really amazing business person without having to like screw somebody over or be shady or act up. You know what I mean? I think loyalty is really important. And especially when we're working on like new, fresh projects, people forget like this is not TikTok. We're not going to just blow up and be billionaires. Like it takes consistency and hard work. So if you're going to embark on a project, it's like you need to actually respect the project and the people that you work with and push through. You know what I mean? Like
absolutely,
for the long term, because
yeah.
that's the thing. Like it's really easy to, oh yeah, that was a vibe, that was a trend, oh, that was the it spot for a minute. And then next minute, things get tough because the market's changed. There's a lot of factors that come into play. I'm talking about events here. And it's like, you need to be, it's important to have people that are like able to push through the challenging times, communicate, be transparent. So I think, it's like, because I feel like there's a fine line, when you're like, business is business, don't take it personal. I'm going to do this and that's cool because it's business. It's
and
like,
then when you're like, as in like you have to be, are you saying more like, Are you talking about the people that you're in business with, or like the people that are in your team? Like, what are you talking about
just
when
like
you're saying
people that you're engaging with,
Yeah.
you know, because even with what you do, right, you're dealing with a lot of different aspects of putting this production together. You know what I'm saying? So you're dealing with different people, and opportunities will come up for your team and for you, and that's all good and well. That's what you want, right? You want everyone to grow and succeed.
Absolutely,
But I'm just basically just want to touch on that it's also very important to be able to like move in a respectful manner around the people, because it's a small city, it's a small place, we're all intertwined.
Yeah. And that's the thing, people do talk. And I think, but I also don't think I think for me, it shows character. When someone moves in a way that isn't respectable, it's always going to come back. Do you know what I mean? And I also think like, you know, I don't know, I just feel like, and even if it doesn't, it just reflects on the type of person that you are. So for me, it's just like, I believe in like, you know, I guess karma to an extent, but I wouldn't say karma, but like it's just very much like you put out the energy that you want to receive.
Yes.
So that's a big one. Another thing that you like spoke about, you like touched on, is like when you're saying, because you're right, in being a woman in business, right?
I'm sorry.
It is. I had this conversation with a friend recently. Double-edged sword, where it can be very easy for you to get into spaces. Not easy, let me not say easy, but it can be like, you can sometimes get more access to spaces because you're a woman, right? Like you can have those conversations, get your foot in the door, but also you also need to be mindful of like how you step in and how you're perceived. You know, we were having, even my friends, she'll always be like, you know, there's pretty girl networking and there's business girl networking, you know, and we always talk about that. And I think there's a fine line of like, you know, maybe you can use that to your advantage to get in, but then also I think
you got to be able to come through. You know,
it's also how you carry yourself to be able to be respected in a way. Because I don't want to step in and be the girl that's just looked at as someone who is just a groupie or like a guy, like not respect. I want you to recognize who I am and respect me for the work I'm doing. And I think sometimes there's a fine line. So
it's very challenging.
Yeah,
it is.
How do you navigate that?
Girl, you just keep it together and I don't know. I'm still, it's an ongoing
thing that you're dealing with,
because at the end of the day, you can't control how people see you. You know, if they find you attractive or whatever, if that's their reason for, you know, wanting to work with you or giving you an opportunity. But I think that, I mean, there's obviously like certain things that you can try to avoid that. And like, it's like when it comes to, I don't know, just be aware, like common sense. And then, you know, like, I don't know, I don't want to be like crucified for like freedom, you know, do whatever you want to do. But like, I don't know, I think you just got to find a happy medium. And as much as you can, you know, you got to just pull it back to the focus and make sure that you've got boundaries in place. And I think, I don't know if it's just something that you learn with experience and age.
I think so. I think there's that. I also think that just like, I think it's more experience. I wouldn't even say like age, yes, naturally, but more experience. I think when you eventually know like,
and if you know what you're trying to achieve as well.
Yeah, that's what it is. And you know where you're trying to go.
What are you trying to get out of it and just focus on that? I mean, I have been through situations myself personally where I'm like, oh man, like this is tough, you know? But I think that's the part of being a woman in this industry that is so, you know, if you want to be taken seriously, you need to act serious about what you're doing and not give away, you know, you got to be confident in who you are and you got to have your boundaries and you got to be clear on what you're trying to do and still have charisma and still be able to like be yourself and have a personality. But at the same time, unfortunately, you've got the lens on you. So, you know, you have to be careful with how you present yourself. For sure.
I think I will say it's definitely challenging. It's not like an easy thing to navigate.
I can't lie.
Yeah. It's a lot of work, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I wanted to also speak about how you're a mother. And when we spoke, you told me that wasn't something that you were expecting. It kind of happened. It kind of happened unexpectedly. And One thing that I talk a lot about is like the, I guess, evolution of bittersweet, and how I feel like I started when I was 23.
Yeah.
I'm 28 now, so 5 years is insane to me. But I feel like the version
Like
of myself
fine
that
wine,
started,
can I just say?
period. But it's like how, like when I started at that age, I think one, I wasn't even thinking about, I guess like it was always like, I'm doing this for fun, I'm having fun, I'm having whatever. And then maybe 2 years in, I started thinking about the brand and all of that. And as I'm changing, so is the brand.
Yeah.
And so is the vision, I would say, of the brand. And sometimes that is really hard to like, it's hard to bring your audience along with you when you're going through that journey. And obviously for you, as someone who started Bartier before you were a mother and you're stepping into this space, in this entertainment world, did that change for you? Was there a new version of you? Did you feel like you needed to pivot? And like, what was that? What was that like?
I mean, honestly, like, first of all, unexpected blessing.
Yeah,
So
beautiful.
You know, it's been an amazing experience becoming a mother. And interestingly, so around 2 years, you know, after giving birth, not specifically birth, but, you know, that space now, Wale, my son, he's going to be 3 years old. So basically, yeah, like I feel like now I'm finally stepping into who I was before.
Oh, okay. Like the same version of that, or
Yeah. This, still me, but like obviously, you know, the experience, you learn a lot after becoming a mum. You know, any life-changing experience is going to change you, give you different perspective. But I think like I have to say, it's been really empowering for me to be able to step back into running events, working in the entertainment industry. I think that I'm a lot more focused now than ever before. What I've achieved in the last like 10 months versus before having a baby, I feel like because you just don't have time to muck around. Like it's just like, if you're going to set your mind to something and you're going to, you know, you kind of have to like make it happen in a short space of time.
Yeah, of course.
Because the juggle is real.
Yeah.
But I think that for growth, pivoting is so important because at the end of the day, you are evolving, you know, all the time as a human and growing. And I think that it's important to reflect that in what you're doing because it shows that things are changing and that you are expanding, you know, your knowledge and so forth. I think that, it's just kind of like something that I feel like you should just take in your stride as much as you can.
Yeah. It's like, did you feel like the vision for your brand changed before and after?
In a way, but also there were a couple of like event ideas that I had before, like hosting a strip club party or something like that I would have loved to do because I'd just come back from Atlanta and I was like hyped.
What are the strip clubs in Atlanta like?
Oh, well, it's a strip club culture. So
it's a
clubs
big thing.
are predominantly at strip clubs and it's just like, it's very different to Australia.
Okay.
So I think just whatever you think of here, if you've been to a strip club here, take that out.
Yeah.
Take that out, throw it away. So it's a culture, it's a lifestyle. It's very, it's obviously super fun for both men and women. It's not like, it's just like a party, but it's at a strip club.
You know what's so crazy? Because I always used to like, obviously I grew up listening to like American music and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I always hear, and like you just see in their culture, like going to a strip club is so normal. And even like women going with their men.
Oh man, they have the best
clubs.
wings, by the way.
The best wings?
So wings at the strip club, pop off.
Really? I've had, I think, what was it? I had like the Wingstop in the UK. Well, I mean, not in the UK, in the US. I was in DC and they had really nice like lemon pepper wings. Yeah. I'll never forget that taste.
So people just go there
delicious.
to eat, like, you know what I mean? They might be just going to hang out. It's
okay.
not like weird and seedy like I feel like it is here.
Yeah.
Because
and
it's
that's
just
something
different.
that we wouldn't know. Like even for a man to go with his girl to a strip club.
Because it's not like you're just going there like to be a perv. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's just
I want to know. Like, it's like you're saying it's part of the culture. To a strip club.
Yeah. In the States?
No, I haven't been to one in the States.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well, I've been, let me just not air myself, but yeah, I've been to like Miami, I've been to King of Diamonds, like a bunch of other ones, New York, Atlanta.
And it's literally like a club.
Yeah. Atlanta is known for strip clubs, though.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's definitely the clubs are at the strip club.
Yeah. What's the biggest one?
Only,
What is it? Magic City? Is that in Atlanta?
Magic City, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's different ones that come up as well. But I feel like Magic City's been running for the longest. They're very iconic.
I need to.
But it's just like a
Atlanta.
vibe, you know, just to relax. There's just like entertainment going on. I think that's what it is. It's an experience.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think it's necessarily like I'm going to a strip club because I want to see ass and titties.
Yeah.
I feel like obviously there's definitely going to be people that go to see ass and titties.
Yeah.
But like, you know what I mean? It's just like the vibe, like it's just like a place to hang, you know?
That's so
like you're smoking shisha, you're eating wings, like throwing some dollars, there's an ass there, there's some titties there. It's cool. Like it's not, I definitely don't see that here.
Yeah, of course. You don't see that
So
at all,
it wouldn't be the same, but like as an example, like after experiencing that, I was like, wow, like we don't have this again. Let me try and bring that in.
Yeah.
But that was before COVID, so COVID hit. But I think for me now personally, I'm kind of like got a lot more like focus as a mum now. I personally wouldn't necessarily
do something like that.
Yeah. Like it's just, if it happens later down the track, I don't know. I'm not sure what, you know, the future holds. But that's just an example, I would say, of me refining and pivoting. Like I'm not stopping who I am. Like I want to be myself. I want to run events. I want to continue, you know, working in entertainment and with artists and supporting in any way. But now I'm just kind of focused on different ways of doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that being a mum in particular, it is a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, I need to be like this. I need to do things this way. I'm a non-conventional person. You know, I've lived my life that way, you know. So naturally, not because I was trying to do it on purpose, it was just like, I just flowed and I went, you know, my journey was just different to like maybe some of my high school friends and I can appreciate different ways of doing things. But for me, I was like it was a really like huge point for me to actually come back and find something that I was passionate about and that still represented who I am, but I could take it in my stride and still be a mum and show up for my son and be present. And to be able to juggle that is honestly like a blessing.
So I had my beautiful friends from Collective Closet, shout out to them. They spoke about vision and everything. And they spoke about how sometimes, they were like, right now we have been building our brand they've been doing it for years. I think they've been in the fashion industry for 10 plus years.
Yeah,
but they've been building their own brand for, I can't remember exactly how many years, but you know, around that. And so they were talking about how right now they're like, we don't know what our vision is. We don't know. Because, you know, it's changed so much and it's still the overarching vision of like we are creating like a movement in Australia with when it comes to fashion and redefining what that looks like and bridging two cultures. But then it's also about like sometimes you actually don't know which way you're going and there's like shifts in life and changes that can really like
look, you can plan, but God plans for you sometimes.
Amen to that, honestly. And I think and I think it's actually normal to not know where you're going sometimes. I'd actually question people that are constantly like, I know this, I know this, I know that. Because I think life...
You got to like let life. You know?
You got to let life because we're all going through the motions of it.
Have a vision, know what you stand for,
yeah.
but you can express that in different ways. You know, because we might wake up next week and there might be a whole new technology out there.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but like, who knows?
Yeah.
You got to be able to adapt. I mean, just talking of technology as well, like, technology's changed. That's why we're able to do what we're doing right now. Like, so it's about
adapting.
Yeah. And just being open.
Facts. Yeah.
And yeah, that's fine. Like, I think there's a lot of pressure as a business owner or just as a creative or just pursuing any project where you have to have everything sorted. And I think a part of the challenge, and I had this conversation with a girlfriend recently where, you know, she's going through such a transition in her life and, you know, there's a lot of pressure because she's got all these amazing ideas that she wants to execute. But due to like where she's at, she's just got to like be a bit patient at the moment, you know, because life's. And I think that sometimes we have so much pressure because you see constantly like this person's doing that, this brand's doing that, and it creates
comparison
like this
and like this drive
this
to like
timeline like I'm not successful or I don't
Yeah.
have a vision and who am I and I'm an imposter or whatever because you're not on a certain like time lapse. You know what I mean?
You're not meeting these like these checkpoints.
These checkpoints. And I think that it is like just to kind of like take that pressure off and just kind of take time. Some people, like I honestly operate really well under pressure. Like I think that's just what I'm used to.
Yeah.
And that's what sort of pushes me. But it's also not for everyone, and there's no right way
to do it, for sure.
Like even if you're taking little baby steps, you know, and sort of even if it's like that exploring stage, I think that's pretty much what I did in my 20s, like traveled, and now it's kind of making sense. Even people I met 10 years ago are now connecting me with people that I need to know now, 10 years later. So you just never know, you know, when certain things are going to be useful. And I think it's important as much as we can, because it is hard, but to just enjoy the journey and the process.
Oh, I know. And I think the best way to do that for me, what I've realized, is like reflecting back at time, like during times where I'm like, oh my God, I'm just like recording in my room on my phone and and then now I'm like, man, that was so nice. But even that, I'm like, that was such a good time. Yeah. Like that was fun. Like it was so wholesome. It took away from this and this pressure. Like you're always going to have new challenges. Yeah. I think it's always important to like, now that's what I do. I'll just look back and like kind of enjoy that so that I can enjoy now, or like remember how much there were moments where I loved it. But
no, I feel that. I feel that. It's even just like I posted a recap recently and I was like, shit, we've actually done some really cool parties, like, and events, and because you're so focused on what's next and like what's just happened that you do tend to just get lost and forget. Absolutely. You know what? I've actually achieved quite a lot. Yeah. You know, so we've just, it's a good reminder.
I agree. We're going to move on to our bitter or sweet segment. Yeah. Okay, so this is... Thanks. So I have paddles. Basically, the way it works is I'm going to give you a scenario and you're going to say bitter as in like you disagree, and sweet you agree. Yeah. Okay. So the first scenario is being the bigger person in a disagreement. Bitter or sweet?
100% bitter. Like no one is trying to be sweet about that.
So you're not, no, as in, would you be the bigger person?
I would, but inside I would be bitter.
Oh, but you're willing to be like, you know what, let's put this to the side.
I feel like I've had to a lot of time just put things aside and just be the bigger person. Especially when you're if you got a business and you got to again, emotional.
Honestly,
put the emotions aside.
I'm trying to be like, I need to be honest with this answer.
I just need this paddle for like some
you're
air.
getting warm. I feel like I'm being a bigger person in the argument. Let's go based on like,
but what, like personal?
Yeah, personal.
Or business?
Anything really. I guess business for me, I'm always gonna say sweet because it's like, let's just keep it professional. I'm not going to be petty or whatever, just because again, it's like, this is my work. But I'm trying to work on this. Personal, I'm going to say bitter because in my mind, I can be very petty. And I feel like sometimes when people overstep, I find it really hard. I really want to get over that. I really want to be a forgiving person. Yeah. But I find it really hard because you are playing me right now. Yeah. You think I'm foolish. And I think my mind will just like sit on that for so long instead of being like, okay, let's try and move on. But I can...
Depends on the situation though.
Yeah.
Like if it's something that's like, okay, you're dead to me, then see you later.
There's no like rekindling
I feel like I've got a really high tolerance. So I'll be like, okay, yep. And then once I've reached that point, I'm like, all right, see ya. Like I have a tendency, which probably isn't the best, but like I'll just like ghost.
Oh, you'll ghost people. You're a ghoster.
But not like ghost, like when you're waiting for an answer. Like if a situation's come up and I don't know what to say, because what I want to say is like, motherfucker, you know, but then I can't. So then I'll just need to just put you on hold. Yeah. Till I gather myself. But
that's good. At least you know you're aware of it. I feel like, honestly, at least you're aware of it because... I don't know.
Because you don't want me to say what I want to say.
You don't want me to say the wrong thing. That's what I'm saying. You poke and you poke and you poke and then you'll get two sides. But I feel like for me, I'll just like if I can't cut you off for whatever reason, or not cut you off, but if I can't, I just kind of create distance.
Yes.
But I feel like
I can't be fake to your face. Like that's what I really struggle with. So if there's a situation and I feel some type of way, it will be really hard for me to just be like, "Hi, babe, how are you?"
Yeah.
Like you won't catch me doing that.
Yeah.
So if I don't, if I don't give you attention, then you know.
Then you know.
Something's
I think for me, I like to address it. Even if I'm like maybe fake once because it's just a weird situation, I'll address it.
Yeah.
But then to be the bigger person, sometimes if we've had a disagreement, to be a bigger person, I find it I'm going to say I find it hard.
Yeah. Oh,
I find
100%.
it hard to be like, you know what, it's okay. You know, it's okay. Let me just turn a blind eye or like, you know, we forgive it. Because it's one
you
thing.
You forgive, but you don't forget.
That's what I'm saying. It's one thing to forgive you. It's one thing to like move on. It's another thing to genuinely forgive you and be like, it's cool. I think that's hard for me.
I find that hard to forget. Like, I'm petty like that, I guess, too. I guess I am petty.
It's all right. We're learning.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one is gentle parenting. Bitter or sweet?
Like, is it sweet?
No. Okay, do you gentle parent? Bitter or sweet for you?
Oh, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm a pushover. Like, don't smile at me. It's a challenge. Does that mean it's bitter?
So, okay, do you know what gentle parenting is? When
what
people
is gentle
refer
parenting?
Gentle
I don't know. I'm
parenting
ethnic.
is like,
I don't know. I'm African. Like, I don't know.
You're like, don't give me these white terms. Gentle parenting is.
I'm like, I got a smack to the face if I said some shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Is that gentle parenting?
Gentle parenting is like, we don't hit our kids. We don't yell at our kids. We don't use the word. There's some people even say like, we don't use the N word, as in no. We don't say no to our children.
Oh.
You know what I mean? We say, maybe not right now, sweetie.
No, I don't say no. I say hell no.
So that would be that. So that means
better put that lolly down.
Yeah. So gentle parenting, I guess, would be for you like a bitter, like the whole concept of gentle parenting.
Bitter. Because the thing is, like, I believe, you know, we've been blessed with a lot of insight and wisdom. You know, when you're looking at generations back. So I think, you know, for me anyways, I've learned from what I've experienced as a child, and I'm all about communication. Yeah. But I feel like you do need to have discipline.
Okay.
Because it's hard. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're too nice, then you've got no control. Yeah. And then your child might just while out. Yeah. So, like, I think whatever works for you, I know everyone's different. But I feel like, you don't need to be aggressive, but I think you could, sometimes I'll be like, lose my shit. And then I'll feel so bad. Yeah,
it would be so hard to actually to be a mum. I feel like I'd be in two places.
Yeah, because sometimes it's like not their fault, right? And you're just trying to do life and it's not them, but it's them being a 3-year-old or a 2-year-old and it's like it is what it is. But I think, for me, I always try to then come back, even if, you know, you're human too. So you might be like yell in the moment. Yeah. But I think that I personally just try to, you know, find my you know, happy place again and just bring it back and just talk it through and explain mummy got upset because of this and this is why. I think communicating and having that dialogue is important.
Do you believe in hitting your kids?
I haven't gotten to that point. Like, no, I don't believe in it. I don't think it's necessary. Like a little tap or sometimes might be okay, but I don't believe in beating your kids.
Yeah, I think sometimes like because I talk to especially like ethnic or Africans and it's like everyone is always like, you know, we grew up with that and like, you know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with it. But sometimes I'm just like, but that like for me.
I don't know. I don't have the heart for it.
Yeah,
I really
just
don't have the heart for it.
I have like, the way I see it is like, this is really a whole child, a whole baby who has no concept of or understanding of what's going on. So for me, I feel like I just find it really hard. And I don't think I don't have the heart for it. I wouldn't be able to hit my kid.
I don't personally think it's necessary.
I don't think so either.
I don't know. Like I'm learning as I'm going, you know. My son's 3 years old now. Yeah. So I don't know if that's going to come into play later.
I feel like it would have already come into play.
Oh, really? Yeah. See, I couldn't.
That's what I'm saying. And
I don't
you know what? I'm not a mother yet. As I can't talk with too much confidence to be like, why would you do it?
But that's the thing.
Because I don't know.
I
like,
try
I'm
not to say too much because you might be like, damn, that lady be hitting their child. Or, damn, that kid's like out of control. And then trust me, next week, you'll just be going about your day and your child will be doing some crazy shit. So you just can't judge.
It's not even, that's what I'm saying. For me, I'm actually not even a mother. So it's like, I can't even think
you just
about
never
what
know.
you guys, I
might think,
babysat
I got a little angel and then.
it's like, even the screaming for me will be like, oh my God, take your child back. So I can't imagine being a mother 24/7, like you're on all the time. Like I get it. But I just feel like for me, I would try to find ways to discipline my kid outside of hitting them. Like,
I feel like discipline is key.
Yeah.
100% believe there's different ways
that you can discipline your kid.
Discipline. And I don't think that should be like a first resort type of situation.
Yeah.
Like definitely, I don't believe in, violence. I mean, even as an adult, I talk to I literally, like, my son and I, we make Pinterest boards together. Like, I'm like, cool, how do you want your birthday party to look? Let's find designs. And like, I talk to him like he's
That's
like
so cute. You
adult.
know what they say though? This generation of parents they're different. Like there's a lot of like that, number one, talking to them as like adults so that they know, you know how I feel like previous generations, they'll be like, oh, what do you do? Like very baby-like. They don't treat them as like grown. So the kids, I don't know how they end up, if they like just mature like a lot later or something. Yeah. But I feel like.
When we, like growing up in South Africa, the older generation, like basically my childhood was like children are seen, not heard. Like that was a thing.
Yeah.
So it's like out of respect your elders. There wasn't as much engagement, you know what I mean, with adults and kids.
Even when
conversation, I mean.
Yeah, there's none of that. There's no like, if your opinion does not matter.
It's like the kids are over there, you go play, and this is adult time.
Yeah.
So I feel like, fortunately, like, I don't know, my parents were very, I don't know.
It wasn't
they probably overshared a bit too much, but you know, like we were all like a part of it. Maybe that was because we moved to Australia. We didn't really have family around, so we only had our immediate family. Yeah. So you're naturally more involved.
Yeah, I think so too. I feel like I don't know. Even when I was in Ethiopia, sometimes the way they would see the kids, it's like second. The adults get fed first. The kids get fed second. Yeah. The kids are very like to the side. But then when my parents were here, it was the opposite. Yeah. They'd flip it. So I don't know. I think it's...
How old were you?
No. I was born here.
Oh, you were born
But I've been back 4 times. So it's like I see my cousins and I see how like...
Do you ever think about like what your life would be like if you didn't ever come to Australia or if you were born there?
Yeah, I do. And it's like this a combination of like, obviously you'd be closer to your culture and your roots and everything.
Yeah.
But
I'm like, I wonder if I'd be running events.
I feel like I'd be very... Girl, I would absolutely not be doing any of this. That's why it's a huge blessing as well. Yeah. In Ethiopia, it's not... It's still backwards in a lot of ways. They haven't like progressed, especially like where I'm from. There's just a lot of like, it's hard. Like they have a lot of challenges and things like that. Money, access, like they're not able to move around that way. Yeah. So I feel like, I'm very blessed. And it's sad. Like, a lot of ways it's hard because you'll see people your age there and you're like, damn, like it
I
really
found it hard to like connect with my peers. Especially like family, because I'm so like I said, not conventional. Yeah. So they see me as like this, like, I don't know, just different, So go back and so it's very interesting.
They don't understand you
because it's like the same sort of like cliques. It's very cliquey, the same sort of like circles everyone hangs out in. So and here I am like running around, doing events, working with artists, just
well, it's very different.
Freeballing, so. Not literally, but...
Yeah. Let's move on to the final segment, which is the dilemma segment. So this one came in from one of the listeners that we have, and they said, I've actually been quite public about this. The dilemma starts off by saying, I'm in love with my community like yourself, and I operate a few businesses casually in Adelaide. Well, I was operating a gym/dance studio recently, and I hired instructors as you do. My most recent instructor was a friend of mine. She's very active. She's a very active business person and a boss in her own right. Well, long story short, I made changes to my business and without cluing her in. So her job changed. When I told her that I don't need her as an instructor anymore and that I'd like her to deliver something else, she did not take this kindly and made sure I heard about it. I paid her up front and she hasn't returned the figure, and it was a lot of money. I learned that hiring a boss is hard because they can assume liberties and rights that are not in their contract. Basically, she didn't want to adjust and she ran away with the cash and isn't returning my calls. I lost my first friend in business.
Oh, damn.
So I guess the dilemma, it's more this person made a statement about what happened.
Yeah.
But how would you handle a situation like this? And do you think that she's in the right or do you think that she's in the wrong? Because
it's her business. Mm-hmm. She got a friend
to get involved in the business. Yeah. And then what happened was she hired the friend to do a certain role.
Yeah.
And then she said that she
changed the role.
She said she changed the role without involving her friend in the change. Yeah. But then she said
communication.
Yeah, so there's communication. But then she also said that she doesn't need an instructor anymore. So what I'm seeing is that her friend was delivering a service, which is a dance instructor.
Right.
And now you're saying you're changing her role or you're actually scratching her role, which that's the one I don't get because it sounds like
she's already said that she made a change without communicating.
Yeah.
So that's probably not the greatest first step.
Yeah. And then she's also said that she doesn't need an instructor anymore. So I'm guessing that
she said like the girl's a boss or something.
She said she's a boss in her own right. She's just saying like she's a great person, like she knows what she's doing. But I think the friend kind of took her role as like, I'm managing this part of the business now.
Right.
Not your business, but I'm just managing this.
This is interesting because I think a lot of the time when you're working on a project, and especially as somebody, when you've, started your own thing and then you're like, okay, I need a team. Who do I need? I think the most important thing is to clarify who is the leader and to sort of try your best to communicate everyone's role and what their expectations are and what their deliverables are. And very interesting because like we've been having a lot of conversation about this within the
business
with my team as an example, and just it's important to like somebody close to me was like, I know my role, I know my place, I'm confident in my position, I don't need a title, I'm not here for my face to be plastered around it, I know my position. And I actually thought that was really interesting because I think that
someone said that to you?
Yeah, like not to me but like in a conversation about how she felt.
Yeah.
In a business. So like it's really important for everyone involved to know their place. Like,
yeah,
you're a boss, you're a leader, you're starting this business, and then you've brought in somebody that's kind of like maybe they thought they were a part of it.
Yeah. I don't even know. I think like because I get what you're saying. Yeah, maybe she thought she was involved with the
and then she made a change and didn't inform her, so she was probably pissed off.
Yeah, and I think to be honest, I feel like as a business owner, like if you're going to bring people in, you need to be clear and you need to keep communication open, because to me this just sounds like you've brought someone in, and even the way she said that she's changed something in her business.
Yeah.
You also need to be considerate about the person that's coming in.
Yeah, or how that's going to be delivered.
And how that's going to affect their life. Because if I'm someone that's coming in, if I've hired someone to come in and they know that they're doing this service for me and then all of a sudden I've scratched it, you don't know if they've accounted for that. Like that's probably money for whatever reason that they have going on.
Honestly, business and friends,
you can't really tough, it gets tough. It gets sticky.
And I think you always need to, and I try to do this because I'm so like, everybody, come on.
Yeah.
There's space for all of us, you know. But I think it's important to like have those real tough conversations at the beginning and even throughout, because things change. Even with me, like we've pivoted and things have changed. Yeah. And you just got to kind of like keep touching in and communicate.
Yeah, for sure.
But the communication goes both ways. Like you as the leader got to, be clear. But then if you're feeling some type of way, like the other person, they need to also
need to talk about what they want from that. Because I think a lot of times as well,
be
it's
clear.
Like, yes, yeah. So I think in my opinion, I will say that the business owner, for me, I don't like the way that you've said that this is your business. I think that this is also your friend equally. Like, and you need to be, I think And I've
like
had
what
this
comes
situation.
first, you know,
What comes
the friendship or the business?
Yeah. And I think sometimes when you have this vision as a business owner, you're like, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go here. You need people to, what's the saying? You can't, it takes a village. But there's also the other saying
Isn't that
where
for
it's
kids?
like, huh?
Isn't that for
Is
raising
it for
kids?
kids? I think it's for everything, whatever.
Well, at this point, you need a village for
Do you know
just
what? I
about
feel
everything.
I need to make a compilation video of all the things that I get wrong. I just be saying shit. But
That's why sometimes I'm like, let me not talk.
there's another saying that goes, it's something
I
about you
think
can
it's
get
like,
further with more people or something. It's along those lines of like you go far, you can go fast on your own or go far with a team, something like that. That's the saying. I know that one.
Yeah,
it's right. Yeah, Maggie. She was like, so I do think that if you go like,
but also too many cooks though.
Too many cooks for sure, but I think if you're a leader, you need to learn how to be a leader. Not everyone can just be a leader.
Yeah.
So it's important for you to learn your team.
Yeah.
It's important for you to also consider what they need as well to grow. Because why would they want to work with you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There
Well,
has to be
somebody's
some
kind of got to
equal,
lead the project or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, but 100%, you need a team.
You need a team and you need to be willing to like understand your team.
Yeah.
And I feel like, yes, it's your business, whatever, but you've brought this person on.
Yeah.
So it's important for you to.
And it's like, again, cultivating that relationship, respecting that person's boundary or, you know, how their feelings.
Yeah.
And just going about it the right way. I'm sure if there was a reason for the change, it was warranted for whatever reason.
Yeah, if they wanted to, for sure. But I think just
communicate
it.
Yeah.
So
communication.
I'm sorry, but yeah, I think there's both of you guys are in the wrong.
So the dilemma
situation.
is, okay, babes, your money's gone, and it is what it is, girl. That ain't coming back anytime soon. It looks like.
I think and it's just sad that you've lost a friendship in that. But yeah, friends and business, it can be really
rush
sticky.
To go into business with friends if you can.
Yeah, because it can get really hard,
especially at the start. It's different when you're established, I feel like, and you have a role that's set out. It's a lot easier, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's like, it's a lot clearer, like, this is what you need to do, and it's more defined.
It's just hard.
Starting out is not easy.
Every friendship is really like difficult. And I think for me, it's like I would rather preserve my friendship than to jump in. Because sometimes in business, you got to be like, listen, you have to, there's ugly truths. Sometimes it's like, I don't want to work with this. I don't want to work with you anymore.
Or even working with family too.
Yeah, it's hard.
Because like you might hire a family member. I have another friend who was in that situation, and then her family member was just slacking, like collecting checks but slacking. And it's like, because it's family, you know, you can push people.
For sure.
So sometimes it's actually, if you can avoid it.
It works for some people, but
and even strangers, like you got to vet people too. Like it's a process.
For sure,
I think.
Yeah.
Finding the right dynamic but man, some people there's some crazy people out there though. They can just be taking your money and run away.
Yeah, there's some skills you need to learn in this business. Anyways, it's a lot, but for people the other people that want to send you for other people that want to send in your dilemmas, you can send them through all the links in our socials. So that's bittersweet.podcast. Before we wrap up this episode, I want to say thank you for coming on. You've been amazing.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And I quickly want to touch over the event that's happening on the 14th of November this month.
Yeah, so very important, guys. November 14th. We're going to be at Collingwood Yards. We're doing something very different. So, you know, we used to do like food. We're still doing food, but it was more like in a venue and an establishment. This time, we're actually doing a pop-up at X-Floss, which is a florist.
Oh, beautiful.
She's an amazing creative florist. Her pieces are just like so unique and just, it's a vibe. Check it out on Instagram. We've got Julia Lostrom that's going to be debuting and premiering her music video, Bodies. Super sexy. Lots of amazing creatives involved with that. And we've got a really cool list of DJs. So the lineup, we've got Nick Bam from the UK, bringing that, you know, UK vibe. International up in the building. DJ Shadows and Faraya, as well as Swim Good. So he's an amazing producer who's going to be hitting the deck. So it's just like music, fashion. We've got visual installation by Fractured, the music video by Julia Lostrom. And then also we're doing a braai. So Brother John is going to be doing like a bit of a cookout outside.
Okay.
And we're just adding a little bit of that SA flavour.
Okay, love that.
So we're going to have a braai. So
is braai like, what is braai, a barbecue?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was
South African barbecue.
Okay. Yeah, I love that. That sounds amazing.
Yeah. But, you know, he like puts things together really well. So it's going to be like tasteful, but like a bit of like South African culture as well. So yeah, 7 p.m, November 14th. And yeah.
Make sure we put all the details. We'll put the details in the show notes. And also, where can people find you? Where can people follow Bartier and the journey?
Yes. Yeah. Bartier on Instagram, Bartier._, Bartier. Like Cartier, but with the B.
With the V. Okay, perfect. Is that where the name was inspired? Is that where it came from? Okay, I love it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will see you guys again next week.
Thank you so much.